Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Europe versus USA. Actual everyday life differences.
Ever wondered what the real day-to-day differences between living in Europe and the USA are? Well, today, we're diving into a fun, lighthearted head-to-head comparison of the two. And maybe, I might even get a smile out of you. But
What?
why we had to see a toilet, for what reason? But anywho, he has two channels, one for him in Portugal and one that's like his cinematic one.
No, it's the same. They're in Portugal.
Oh,
The cinematic one, I don't think it's him. It's another person.
oh,
He's just there in Portugal, yeah.
But first, quick question. Which do you think is better to live in? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is some guy named Dave in Portugal, an American who has traveled to over 20 countries in Europe, and I've made many videos comparing cost of living, healthcare, work-life balance, and similar topics. This is not that. Today, we're going to dive into a territory where few go. This is just a silly video for entertainment comparing the everyday life, day-to-day things that you will have to deal with living in Europe or the United States. And if this video offends you, get a life and maybe go take up a new hobby like gardening. Anyway, without further fluffy duff, let's get right into the showdown, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, plug enthusiasts of all ages, we're diving into the electrifying debate that has been shocking the world for decades. Are electrical sockets better in the USA or Europe?
I don't know why we talk about this. Who cares? It's just a different one. Like, it really doesn't matter.
Let's get charged up. First, we have the good old US of A. The infamous Type A and B plug. The Type A is one of the oldest electrical plug designs still in use today. It was absolutely electrifying when it was invented in 1904 by Harvey Hubble. It was widely adopted in the Americas and Japan. And now, meet the improved Type C or Euro plug. That is the most widely used electrical plug in the world. With its round sockets and robust design, European plugs say, "Oui, I'm sophisticated, even if they're German." European sockets run on 230 volts. Meanwhile, America's 120 volts say, slow and steady wins the race, eventually. But to be honest, after living in Europe for 3 years, I'm going to have to say that I prefer the European plug to the USA one.
Why?
If you have a heavy charging block like the Apple ones for your laptop, it can easily just fall out of the wall. And the European one just feels so much more stable. I'm gonna have to give this one to Europe.
I guess.
I mean, it's a stupid comparison, but the point about the Apple one is valid. That sometimes the Apple one does fall off the wall. It's a little annoying.
But it's because the cord is little.
It's just because it's heavy and it doesn't stick in the wall, I guess. But that's like such a niche problem to have. I don't think it's worth talking about in the video. I don't know, that's a very random thing to talk about. Honestly, the plug, who cares?
Next, we gather around for the ultimate showdown you didn't know you needed. American dryers versus European clotheslines? Let's tumble into it. First up, the American dryer. The land of supersized everything, fridges, coffee cups, egos, and yes, the turbocharged tumble dryer. Need your clothes bone dry in 30 minutes flat? Boom! These bad boys could double as a jet engine. Nothing beats the feeling of fresh, hot laundry. It's like a warm hug from your favorite blanket. Plus, who's got time to wait? Americans are too busy chasing dreams, watching Netflix, or Googling how to fix a clogged lint trap.
The only thing is scary is
And now
when the dryer can turn into a fire. That's
Get
scary.
across the Atlantic to Europe, where dryers, well, they're more of a suggestion. Why use electricity when you've got the good old-fashioned sunshine? That's right, air drying is the OG eco-friendly hack. In Europe, drying your clothes isn't just a chore, it's
I
a
just feel
lifestyle.
like I don't want my neighbors in my business. Like,
If you care about the environment, your energy bill, and your clothes not shrinking to doll-sized versions of themselves, air drying is a great way to do it, and I do it a lot here in Europe. But beware, should you stumble upon a European dryer, prepare for the slowest spin of your life. Dryers in Europe take an incredible amount of time to dry your clothes, like 3 hours. So air drying your clothes outside is the preferred option in Europe. But here's the kicker, literally. Americans might love their dryers, but their electricity bills love them even more. Europeans, on the other hand, are busy saving money and Mother Earth, one drying rack at a time. So which is better, the power and speed of the American dryer or the eco-friendly charm of the European breeze? It all boils down to your priorities, instant results or zen-like patience. As much as I love the soothing meditation
if I was living in a house, I would air dry.
I don't know.
Because here you have to wait till like when it's not peak hours to use those machines. So I have like a whole day I don't get to do laundry because I can't. Better just to put it outside, especially like the sheets.
It's cheaper to air dry for sure. That's the... If you need something like if you no, I think the sheets is better than the dryer because you need them. Well, unless you have multiple pairs of sheets, okay. If you have
Yeah, you have
if you have
unless you have to do
multiple,
multiple
yeah, if you have
bedrooms
multiple
to do,
sheets, then okay, whatever.
you gotta
But
be
if you need
efficient.
something quickly, it's the dryer. You gotta use the dryer.
Drying my clothes outside. Europe in the
But the
winter
worst
is
is
probably
like
the worst
when it starts raining, run! You gotta get your stuff out from
place to
the
dry your
line.
clothes outside. And having a good dryer is just so convenient, even here in Southern Europe in a place like Portugal. So this one for me is going to go to the USA. All right, folks.
I think, just because you have a dryer, you can also hang them. So, like, I think I like having an option of a dryer. You don't have to use it if you don't
I
want
think
to.
there should be a more modern look to how they hang them outside on the line, cause it kind of look a little tacky too. Cause it takes
Well,
up the yard. Cause you have to put it on a
what?
tree.
So what would modern look like?
I don't know. Like they have the proper hangers that you could buy like at
No, there's those, yeah, like
indoor, but
yeah, that's what we used at home, yeah, because you can't like in the winter you can't hang it outside, so we hang it indoors, yeah, that's what we would use. We would put it on the radiators so they're to dry it, because they're heat. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I think having a dryer is a plus because you can always air dry whenever you want. If you want to save money, save electricity, preserve energy,
I want
care
to see a
about earth.
video. I want to see how much money you really saving.
So
I need to see that.
for that, yeah, but I don't see a downside of just having one in case you choose to use it.
Folks, next we're tackling
Because
the
sometimes
real
you have
cultural-
emergencies.
Yeah, emergencies, or you just want warm clothes to put on. It's cold outside, and you want to, when you go into bed, you want a warm sheet. It's nice.
divide. Light switches. Forget politics, forget food. This is what truly separates us. Welcome to Europe.
Once like these problems. Okay, no, the dryer problem, the life difference I get, that was a good one. But light switches, like
This is one in
Europe, yeah.
Oh,
I guess the only difference is I would say, maybe this is actually worth talking about then. Now that I think about it, so I take it back.
ooh.
In Europe,
you
it's
really do that. Wow.
in Europe, it's on and off. I don't remember if it exists adjustable one or not. I've never seen it personally. Not saying it doesn't, but I haven't seen it, or at least it's uncommon. Here, it's very common to have adjustable light where you can set the setting to light how bright you want it to be. Whereas in Europe, it's just on and off. So I think that's a difference. So I guess I would give the edge to the States then, because sometimes you want to dim it, sometimes you want it bright. So I think that's a cool setting to have.
Where light switches are chic, square, and flush with the wall. Press up for all.
In terms of like the way it looks, I would prefer European. They look nicer to me than the American, but I get why they're like up and down because of the adjustment.
Off and down for on. Sophisticated, elegant. And here's the good old US of A. Our switches, it's like a little thing that goes up and down. Are you just happy to see me, or is your light on? But in a lot of places,
I haven't
in Europe,
seen this one in a
especially
long
Southern
time.
Europe,
Yeah, I
the
haven't
light
seen
switch
that one
is
in a minute.
outside of the bathroom. To be in the bathroom or
That's
outside
nice.
of the bathroom.
That's
is
wise
What?
to have the light. So turn on the light from inside the bathroom outside.
Oh.
Because that's kind of scary. Make sure there's no boogeyman in there.
the question. Now there's a logical reason for this, as before fault circuit interrupters were invented to prevent electrocution, it was mandatory for the light switches to be on the outside of the bathroom. However, this has changed in most parts of Europe, and it makes sense because it's no fun to be in the shower and have your siblings turn the lights off on you as a prank.
That's
But
not
in my-
nice.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, that was a thing.
Oh, that's not nice.
That was a thing. Yeah.
That's not nice.
Opinion where the US
You can
wins
still
is
go
the
inside.
dimmer. Light dimmers aren't as common in Europe, and that's unfortunate when it's time to turn on the
Yeah.
slow jams and dim down the lights. Now, a quick word from the sponsor who made this video possible. Have you ever Googled any personal information,
like
cognate,
the
or
one
personal
that you-
have your data sending request? And the best
Oh,
for
I
a few
only
is
seen
use
that
the
in-
code Dave deal. Take
in,
control of your personal data
Home
safety
Alone.
without talking about door locks. The video.
Okay. So, I guess he didn't say which one he picked. Well, either way, yeah. For me, I like the dimmers. The dimming option is nice.
And we can't talk about safety without talking about door locks. In Europe, locking your door is like solving an escape room. You've got to lift the handle, twist the key, say a magic spell, and perform a little waltz
This was
before
a
it's
problem
secured.
for
Meanwhile,
one person who was traveling from the States to France. They got an Airbnb, and they came off at 3 a.m. So they were trying to get into their Airbnb, and they're unable to unlock the door because there's so much going on. and they couldn't call the
Not really a lot going on.
well for USA people. Yes,
It's
it's a
just
lot going
here
on.
is upside down.
Yeah.
There's right way up. That's it.
Meanwhile, in the US,
I would take European locks for the reason that here in the States, the other side of the lock is just a switch. In Europe is the key. You put the key and you lock the door the same way. The reason I like that is because you can leave the key inside and it blocks the other side from unlocking the door.
Really?
So when you're at home, you just leave the key in the door and nobody
Oh.
from outside can unlock it.
Wow, that's a good
Yeah,
safety
so
measure.
for safety that's good. A and
Wow.
B, you never lose your damn keys because they're always in the door.
Yeah, you never. Yeah,
So
you're
there's no
right.
misplacing the keys because sometimes
You're
you don't know
right.
where the fuck I put the keys. They just they're in
Yeah,
the door. So I would take
that's
European
nice. I
door.
didn't
Yeah.
know that.
click, and that's it. A toddler could lock it or unlock it, which is slightly concerning. I've noticed that Europeans are always accidentally locking themselves out of their house, seemingly more on average than in the US. And that's because a
Really?
lot of doors lock automatically when you close the door. In Europe, I'm convinced your
Oh.
locksmith has a degree in engineering. It's like, this lock has been
No, I never. Not the doors I know.
passed down for generations, crafted by medieval blacksmiths. Meanwhile, in the US, it's like, hey, close enough. If someone really wants in, they'll just kick the door in anyway. So in Europe, your door is like Fort Knox, and in the US, it's more like Fort Cardboard. To be honest, I think this one is a stalemate because there are pros and cons to each locks in Europe and the USA. Stalemate!
I wonder if you could do that to your home here in the States. If you could make the door like that, or is it not
I mean,
allowed?
if you own it, I'm sure you can bring a lock from
Oh.
Europe and install it. Yeah.
Oh,
I just, I don't see why
that's
not.
cool.
I see a benefit of American lock. I guess convenience, maybe just flipping a
I
switch
feel, oh,
is
when you're
easy.
running, oh, what if you?
But I think overall European is a better product in terms of safety. Not forgetting where you put your keys.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I think European is a better product.
So recently on a trip back to the United States, I couldn't help but notice how different consumerism is between the USA and Europe. In grocery stores in the
sausage
US,
right
it's
there.
like you're constantly bombarded by all these single brands for everything. It's just crazy how many options you have for everything, and it seems like everyone and their cousin has made some product,
It looks so
pitched it to
different
Shark
here
Tank,
for me.
and now you're being sold a bottle of
don't
water
recognize
for
them here.
$7 that has some type of vitamin in it you apparently can't live without, even though everyone has been just fine without it up until this point. But let's face it, the United States goes way overboard when it comes to health trends and getting you to buy products you probably don't really need. In Europe, this isn't so much the case. You can find everything you need, but there are far less brands in your face everywhere. You can find the high quality raw materials, and shopping is just much more simple. Without a doubt, Europe has much higher quality food for less than the United States. But what I will say is that the United States has much higher quality standards for other things. For instance, Leroy Merlin, or Leroy Merlin, a hardware store which is all over Europe, doesn't even hold a candle when it comes to Home Depot in the United States, in
Wow,
my opinion.
not
Most
a
of the stuff I've
candle?
purchased from Leroy Merlin is very cheap, expensive, and honestly not worth it. That's not to say there aren't
Funny, very cheap, expensive. I get what he was saying, but if you just read it without like understanding it, like cheap, expensive, like how the fuck can this be cheap, expensive? Cheap in the sense that it's poorly made, but expensive that it's poorly made and it costs a lot
My
of money.
yeah.
high quality product in Europe, but you're better off to get high quality stuff directly from the manufacturer. I'm gonna give this one to Europe because I prefer to buy more important things like healthy food at an affordable price versus Whole Foods in the United States, aka Whole Paycheck, where health stores have become one of the greediest and biggest scams.
This one is a little tricky. I do like the variety America has. I think the variety is a big, big, big benefit. I know a lot of people criticize it. I don't know why. You pick what you want. If you bothered by variety, just pick the basic one. The one that you know. I'm not bothered. I like it, but I do like that in Europe the fresh stuff is cheaper. The better foods are cheaper than here. So that's why it's kind of like it's a stalemate for me, I think, on this one.
In the US, in my opinion. Europe, you get this one. Now let's talk about
Your
some
favorite
important
one.
business. What's more
I
universal,
can't- I
right? In the US,
can't- I
toilets
can't.
are like swimming
That
pools
is so
for your
weird.
business. There's so much water in there, you'd expect a lifeguard to show up. And
Yeah.
sometimes, if you're not careful, it can splash back up at you
Ew.
like a cannonball. Meanwhile, in Europe, it's all about efficiency. You've got
That's
these
so
sleek,
interesting.
low-water bowls that scream, "We're here to do the job, not host a
Wow.
pool party." And
Is
then
it safe
there's
for
the
me or
button
no?
dilemma. One
No.
button for a light
Oh,
flush,
no.
another for a heavy flush.
light
In
flush.
America,
Yeah, there's a button, a small button for when you pee, and another button for you take a shit.
it's one
It's the amount of water you use.
handle, one job. In
That's
Europe, you
clever.
suddenly have to make an ethical decision about how much water your actions truly
Wow.
deserve. Now, the reason I'm going to give this to Europe is because a lot of European countries have a secret weapon, and that's the bidet. Now, I hope you had as much fun as I did because this was just a blast. This video is in no way saying that the United
I don't
States
like to see a bidet.
That's it. So I guess he gave it to Europe because of bidet. I mean, never used the bidet. I don't know. I mean, they say it's good actually, so I can't like say. But as far as like regular toilets, bidet aside, I like American ones better because they just like suck everything up. Versus because in Europe they wash it down. Here they suck it up. That's the different.
Oh, I didn't
mechanism.
know that.
Yeah. So I like it, and Lithuania, it was always a problem throwing, and I think not just Lithuania, overall Europe, throwing paper down the toilet. You can't. It clogs. Here you can. It just, I don't know. It's just better mechanism. So I would give it to the Americans ones in that sense, but the bidet one, I mean, you can install the bidet too. It's not common, but you can install it. In Lithuania, bidets wasn't common either, so I guess. But I have heard positive things about bidet. It's better than paper, supposedly. So plus, you save money on paper too, non-based paper. So
But use water.
yeah, but it's reusable. It's not like
Okay. Okay, no more. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. Share as much kindness as possible.